The Grand Imperial Hotel in Manhattan glittered under the morning sun, its lobby alive with polished marble, echoing footsteps, and quiet panic. A Russian billionaire waited beside his entourage, his patience thinning by the second as translators failed to arrive. Behind the front desk, the manager's voice trembled. "If we lose this deal, we lose everything." Across the room, a black maid named Jasmine Carter froze mid-wipe, understanding every word the man had just spoken, in flawless Russian. Her heart pounded, but before she could move, the manager snapped, "Don't just stand there, clean. Important people are working." Jasmine looked up, meeting the billionaire's gaze. "Sir," she said softly, "I can help." The manager's laugh cut through the tension like glass breaking. You clean floors, not billion-dollar messes." But Jasmine didn't lower her eyes this time. Something in her tone, her posture, stopped the room cold. For the first time, they realized the maid they'd ignored might be the only one who could save them all. What happens next will change every life in that room. Subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where every story turns silence into strength. The lobby fell into a tense hush as the Russian billionaire's watch clicked past 10. His assistant leaned close, whispering in urgent Russian, while the hotel manager's smile began to tremble at the edges. Jasmine Carter stood near the far column, her mop pressed against the polished floor that now reflected a $1,000 disaster about to unfold. Every sound sharpened, the faint hum of the elevator, the rhythm of heels on marble, the impatient sigh of men who could buy and sell the building she worked in. "Where is the translator?" the manager hissed, sweat tracing a path behind his collar. "We can't lose this client." From the corner, Jasmine lifted her head. She heard the Russian assistant mutter, "This is embarrassing. They are not ready." The words sliced through her, clear as if he'd spoken in English. She had studied that cadence, that accent, for 4 years at Columbia, the language of power, of politics, of the world she once belonged to. Before she could stop herself, she spoke. "I can help." Every head turned. The words hung between marble and glass, shocking in their simplicity. The manager's face hardened instantly. "You," he barked, his voice echoing across the lobby. "You think this is a joke? You clean bathrooms, Jasmine. Stay in your place." The security guard near the entrance flinched. Guests paused mid-conversation. Even the billionaire looked up from his phone, curious. Jasmine didn't move. Her hands were trembling, but her voice, soft, steady, didn't waver. "I speak Russian fluently," she said. "I can translate for Mr. Volkov." The manager's laugh was short and cruel. "What, from a textbook? You'll ruin us before the coffee cools." She met his eyes for the first time in 3 years. "Maybe you're already ruining it yourself." That single sentence broke the illusion of hierarchy. The assistant froze mid-translation. Volkov's gaze sharpened. He switched to Russian. "Let's hear her." The manager stammered. "Sir, please, she's not." But Volkov raised his hand, silencing him. Jasmine stepped forward, wiping her palms on her uniform. The marble beneath her shoes felt like ice. "Mr. Volkov," she said in clear Russian, "the hotel regrets the delay. The translators were unavailable, but I assure you your concerns will be handled with full confidentiality." The shift was immediate. The billionaire straightened. "You speak well," he said in Russian, his tone measured, testing. "Where did you learn?" "Columbia University," she replied. "I specialized in Eastern European relations." A flicker of surprise crossed his face. "And now you clean floors?" Jasmine hesitated. "For now." Silence spread across the lobby again, but this time it wasn't pity. It was respect, slow and dawning. The manager's complexion drained of color. He tried to recover, whispering harshly, "Go back to work before you embarrass us further." But Volkov's next words silenced him completely. "No," he said in accented English. "Let her stay." The negotiation began right there, under chandeliers that burned brighter than the sun. Jasmine translated every sentence with precision, bridging two worlds that had never meant to meet. Each phrase she delivered drew subtle nods from Volkov, each pause a thread of credibility weaving itself around her name. The manager watched, sweating through his designer suit. The staff whispered behind the reception desk. And when Volkov finally smiled, a slow, deliberate smile, it felt like the sound of marble cracking. By noon, the impossible had happened. The deal was saved. "Miss Carter," Volkov said, rising from his seat, "you have talent your superiors failed to see." Her hands shook as she nodded politely. "Thank you, sir." The manager forced a thin grin. "We're very proud of our team." But Volkov's reply came like a knife. "Then perhaps you should start treating them like one." The billionaire left a stunned lobby behind. Jasmine gathered her things quietly, her heart thudding against the rhythm of everything she'd buried for 3 long years. That night, she sat alone in her small apartment overlooking the East River, the glow of the city reflecting in the window like ghosts of all she'd lost. Ambition, purpose, identity. Her phone buzzed. A message from the hotel. "Report to my office at 7 a.m. We need to talk." The next morning, she walked into the manager's office. He was waiting with that same polished tone, the kind that hides fear behind false civility. "You made quite a scene yesterday," he said. "I don't know what you were trying to prove, but that stunt could have cost us everything." "I saved the contract," Jasmine replied. "You were out of line." "I was competent," she said. "There's a difference." His eyes narrowed. "People like you don't get to decide what competence looks like here." The words hit her, but not like before. Something inside her had changed. "Then maybe that's why people like you keep failing." He leaned forward, his voice low and venomous. "Watch your tone. I could have you replaced by the end of the day." Jasmine stood straighter. "You already tried. Yesterday." She left before he could answer. Her footsteps echoed down the hallway. Not hurried, not fearful, just final. By afternoon, the news had spread through the staff. The Russian deal had been extended. Volkov himself requested Jasmine as his official interpreter for future visits. 3 days later, black cars rolled up to the Grand Imperial again. Cameras flashed. Executives arrived. Jasmine stood beside Volkov, now dressed in a tailored navy suit the hotel had rushed to provide. The same manager who'd insulted her 2 days earlier hovered nearby, smiling for the press, pretending control. Volkov's voice carried through the crowd. "Before we begin, I wish to thank Miss Carter publicly for her professionalism. She reminded me that true intelligence does not need a title." The reporters turned. Flashes went off. The manager's face stiffened into a plastic grin. That night, after the event, Jasmine walked past him in the corridor. He tried to speak. "Look, about what I said before." She didn't stop. "You said exactly what you meant." He reached out, desperate. "You have to understand the pressure I'm under." He turned. "Pressure doesn't make you cruel. It just shows what's already inside you." He had no answer. The following week, Volkov's security team returned, not for negotiation but for investigation. They reviewed months of security footage, employee reports, whispered stories of harassment. The truth was worse than anyone had imagined. In staff meetings, the manager had mocked accents. He'd passed over promotions for minority workers, dismissed complaints with, "Don't play the race card." His downfall came quietly at first. A suspension, an inquiry, a board meeting that stretched late into the night. Jasmine didn't attend. She didn't need to. The walls of that hotel carried memories of humiliation whispered between shifts, of invisible brilliance dusted off by privilege. When the verdict came, it was swift. The manager was dismissed, effective immediately. His access card was deactivated before he could pack. As he walked out through the same marble lobby where he'd once shouted orders, the staff didn't look away this time. They watched, silent, unapologetic. Volkov's statement hit the morning news. No business succeeds by silencing the capable. Jasmine's phone rang hours later. It was Volkov himself. "I am opening a North American division," he said. "I want you to lead cultural operations." You've already proven you understand diplomacy better than most executives I've met. Her breath caught. Sir, I don't even have a title. You have something better, he said. You have credibility. Within months, she was no longer cleaning floors. She was leading international partnerships. The staff who once avoided her now greeted her with respect. The young workers she trained carried themselves taller, knowing her story had opened a door for them too. But even success carried ghosts. One evening, she returned to the hotel lobby, this time not as an employee, but as a guest. The chandeliers glowed as bright as ever, but something deeper shimmered there. A quiet shift in atmosphere, a space reclaimed. The receptionist smiled nervously. Miss Carter, welcome back. She nodded. Just Jasmine, please. From the far corner, she noticed a woman cleaning the floors, the same slow, careful rhythm she once knew so well. Their eyes met. Jasmine gave a small nod, the kind that says I see you, the kind she had waited years to receive. Outside, snow drifted through the night, coating the city in silver light. The world felt wide again, not fair, not perfect, but possible. And miles away, the former manager sat alone in a half-empty cafe, scrolling through job postings that didn't call back. The industry that once bowed to him now closed its doors. Every click of rejection echoed the words he'd thrown at her. You clean floors. Now no one cared what he cleaned. In a press conference weeks later, Volkov's company announced a new diversity and leadership program, the Carter Initiative, dedicated to recognizing hidden talent across all sectors. Cameras flashed as Jasmine stood behind the podium, her voice calm and clear. This isn't about me, she said. It's about everyone who's ever been underestimated. We don't rise by proving them wrong. We rise by doing what's right, even when no one's watching. The applause was long, real, and heavy with emotion. That night, when the building emptied and the city lights flickered on the Hudson, Jasmine stood alone in her office. On her desk sat a small framed photo. Her mother smiling after recovery, her uniform folded neatly beside it. She touched it gently, remembering the long nights when hope felt like something other people had. The phone buzzed again, a new project, a new city, a new beginning. She smiled, then turned off the lights. The Grand Imperial's marble floors gleamed downstairs, silent witnesses to the story no one could erase. A story that began with humiliation and ended with truth standing tall beneath chandeliers. And as for the woman who once told her, "Stay in your lane," her name became a cautionary whisper in luxury hotels across the country, a reminder of how easily arrogance destroys itself. Because in the end, no amount of gold or marble can hide the brilliance of a soul that refuses to stay invisible. Snow drifted across Toronto that night, falling softly against the skyline like a quiet reminder that every storm ends somewhere. From her new office window, Jasmine watched the city lights shimmer below, the same streets where she once walked home exhausted, invisible, and unheard. But tonight was different. Tonight she didn't feel small. She thought of the people who once told her she didn't belong, of the years spent proving herself to those who never looked twice. Yet in the silence, she understood something deeper. She hadn't won by fighting them. She'd won by refusing to become them. Down in the hotel lobby, her reflection caught in the glass doors. No longer a shadow but a woman who stood her ground and changed the space around her. The marble floors that once echoed her silence now carried her story. She smiled not for revenge but for peace. Because the truth had spoken, and this time the world had listened. If Jasmine's journey moved you, take a moment to share her story. Every view helps us shine a light on real courage. Like, share, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where every story reminds us that strength doesn't shout, it endures.